Vanessa from To the Brim. When you're starting a business where you're selling something that is time consuming to make, let's say tumblers or pottery or, paintings, things like that, you need to try to think of something that is quick, that you can make in less than a week and a half. If I get an order on Etsy for a tumbler, if I have the space to start it right now, it's, easily a week before it's finished, and then it has to cure for another 3 days. So it's a very slow process. And with clay, you're throwing the clay, you have to let it dry fairly slowly. Add the handle if it's a mug at a certain amount of dryness, and then let it finish drying. Then you have to bisque fire it, then you glaze it, and then you have to glaze fire it. So both of those things are quite a process. So I decided that I wanted to brainstorm things that were, less expensive and less time consuming to fill in those gaps or to kind of add to my business. So as time goes on, I am getting, a steady amount of orders for the tumblers, which is great. I'm enjoying doing those. But pottery is really why I wanted to start a business in the first place. So I thought, well, what could go along with that? That's kind of right up my alley. And I thought, well, I really enjoy candles. I thought about soap. I did make some jewelry. I have some jewelry on my Etsy store. I'm going to continue to make jewelry, but it's not going to be the focus of my my store. And quickly, the other thing that I did was I am starting to build my own website. So I registered my domain, and I'm working on building my website. Right now, it's still private, but it makes more sense if you're going to have a small business that initially you want to draw people to your business. So Etsy is a good way to do that. It's kind of like eBay. Somebody comes there to look for something, they're going to stumble upon your stuff, and that's how they're going to learn about you. But once you have people that are, that are favoriting your shop, or that know you, or they've purchased from you and they like your items, you can ask them to come to your website. Then you're not having Etsy take a cut of your profits, because really you're working for you. And so I'm working to get my website up and running and sell through that as well. I also set up a business phone number, and I'm working on some branding for my business, which is important. It's important for you to advertise and for you to get your name out there. As you begin getting orders on Etsy and you start getting into that routine of getting an order and shipping things and communicating with the buyer and, giving them the tracking number, making sure that they've got it, touching base afterwards to make sure that they like it. Once you get into that routine, you can start to brainstorm ways to have just even that process help expand your business. Can you put a thank you card in with your orders? Can you better communicate with people? If somebody has an issue, how can you resolve it? Those kinds of things. So, I got a custom order for a cup last week, 2 cups actually, and my 32 ounce and my 20 ounce stainless steel tumblers were on their way here. So I had to let them know, I'm not going to be able to start your cup right away. It's better to communicate like that than to have people just wonder, did you get their order? Especially when you're doing something that's going to take a week and a half before you can ship it. That way they know that you got their order, you're going to make it, you're giving them a time frame. And the other thing is enlist people around you. And I've said this before, but enlist people around you to be your testers, your guinea pigs, people that can give you feedback. Make a pair of earrings for somebody. If you're like, my thing is pottery. So I have multiple mugs that I've made for one of my friends, and then another mug that I've made for somebody else. There's most of what's in my kiln right now is stuff that I made months ago for, family or friends. So you're learning your craft, and you're also being able to share it with people. And then in return, they can give you feedback on it. They can say, it was too heavy. The handle was too small. The handle was too big. You know, I couldn't quite fit enough coffee in there, that kind of thing. So I already know that I want to make bigger mugs. I have several that we're using on a daily basis that I made that are big enough, but could be a little bit bigger. You know, I like a handle that I can fit my whole hand in. And some of my mugs, you know, the handles are pretty small. I was still new at pulling handles. And so they're beautiful handles, but they're just too small. So it's all learning experience. And the other thing is even if I look at it and say, oh, well, that's way too small, somebody else may say, oh my gosh, that's just what I'm looking for. So even if it's not something that you would use, it doesn't mean that it's not going to sell. And so that's the same thing with, you know, this, I'm going to start selling candles. And so something that's important to realize when you are trying to set up your fragrance line is that you don't want to just make candles that you would want, because there are people with very different tastes. And you know, I happen to like gourmand fragrances, you know, spicy things, you know, fall kind of scents, relaxing kind of scents. A lot of people like masculine type scents. And so in my process of trying to find candle scents for my line, I'm really trying to touch on all those different things, you know. So being in Vermont, I am going to try to focus on Vermont or New England type things. You know, and I want all of my candle names to be meaningful to me. You know, I have a candle that I'm trying to formulate that is in memory of my mother-in-law who died last year. She used to go on these amazing girls trips, and they would drink margaritas and they would listen to music and they'd go, you know, zip lining, and they would do all these amazing things. And her drink of choice was a margarita. So I'm working on a margarita candle in her memory. You know, we absolutely love the White Buffalo. He's an amazing musician. We've seen him in concert. And so we thought, oh my gosh, you know, he does this video called In the Garage every so often. And it's just a high point during this quarantine to see him goofing off. And, you know, he cracks a beer and he plays his guitar. And I thought, I wonder if I can make a candle that smells like hops and the wood that you make a guitar out of. So I searched, and mahogany. So I have a candle that I'm going to make that's called Hops and Mahogany, and, you know, a nod to the White Buffalo. We love to go up to Church Street Marketplace in Burlington. We usually grab a coffee at a cafe, and I thought, all right, I'm going to name this candle something to do with when we go up to Church Street and walk around. I have another candle that I'm going to make that is kind of a nod to a family vacation we took last year. So try to make your scent names meaningful. The thing that I've seen a lot on Etsy is people are naming their candles the name of the scent oil, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But try to make your item unique from everybody else's. You know, a lot of people are using pumpkin pie spice this time of year. That's cool. Name it something. Name it something. What does that remind you of? What memory do you have when you smell that pumpkin pie spice? You know, things like that. So I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to start with a fragrance oil review for candle makers. I'll see you in a minute.